Welcome back to the All Figured Out podcast. My name is Andrea Barr. Thank you for joining me again this week. I am going to be honest. I have had some fantastic people reach out to come on the podcast. We're at a stage now where people are reaching out, asking if they can come join me. And it's a really hard decision to make when people are saying, hey, I think I have a story to share. And it's actually one of my favorite parts of having this podcast is meeting new, different people, hearing their story, hearing what they think might resonate with this audience here, and then co-creating and really shaping an episode that you will get a lot of value out of. And Shannon Pruitt from Sunday Muse came across my desk, and I thought, I wonder if we've had too many episodes that are related to Shannon's work. So she is a brand strategist and designer. She helps founders build brands that feel really good on the inside. She, as they do on the outside, is what she says, which I love. And she works predominantly with parents, or predominantly with mothers, I should say, but does work with a lot of parents. And so I thought, we had Sam Burmeister on the podcast recently to talk about copy. We've had a lot of entrepreneurs on. How might we make this relevant to an audience that I'm starting to learn is a real blend of working professionals who work for somebody else and entrepreneurs? And so Shannon and I got on the line, and I just immediately felt I don't know, she just has a beautiful energy about her. She's warm, she's lovely, and she was a former teacher and is now the owner of Sunday Muse Design. And so I said to Shannon on the call, I said, okay, what might we talk about that could really resonate with this audience who aren't necessarily all entrepreneurs? And I think we really nailed it. We, in our conversation, explored so many different topics. Shannon shared her story of going from being a high school, really high level English teacher in the education system to becoming a wedding planner, having to close down or deciding to close down her business. And then COVID hits, but right before she was about to sell it. So that was a crazy story. And then how she figured out with a 6-month-old daughter in tow that she wanted to pivot to become a brand strategist. It's a really fascinating story. I, of course, dig in hard on how she made that decision. Like, how did she really know that it was brand strategy that she wanted to do? How did she really reconcile the financial side of it, leaving the wedding industry, which is quite lucrative, going into something in really unknown territory? How did she make that decision? What role did her husband play in this decision? We go really deep into it. And then we had such an awesome discussion towards the end of the episode on personal brand. So whether you are in a corporation, you're working for somebody else, you are an entrepreneur, we talk all about how you can really harness your own personal brand to reflect who you want to reflect. And she even shares with us, for those of you who might be thinking about starting a monetized personal brand, so say I'll become a lifestyle creator or a food blogger or something where you're not really sure where it's going, but you want to just start, she has some wonderful tips about how you can go about doing that. We even talk about if you're a consultant, when do you want to need to create a logo and all the things. We go everywhere. This was such a fantastic episode. I'm so excited and happy that this is coming out in the early new year. This is being recorded in December, but it is such perfect time because if you are somebody who has really big goals and dreams for something that you want to do, a little idea, a little seed that you want to germinate in 2026, then this is the episode for you. And if you're just someone who wants to do really well at work and you want to be seen and recognized for who you are and have a really strong professional personal brand, then this is also for you. I hope you enjoy. This is All Figured Out. I'm Andrea Barr. I'm a career coach for parents, a mom of 2, and I absolutely believe that you can continue to grow personally and professionally while protecting family time. We're about to figure this work, life, and parenting stuff out together. Shannon Pruitt, thank you so much for coming on the All Figured Out podcast. It's lovely to have you here.
So excited to be here. I have been looking forward to this for quite some time.
Oh, I love it. Now tell me, where are you located and who is in your family? Let's start
I
there.
am in South Carolina in the United States, in the upstate. If you know anything about South Carolina, it's
Nope.
kind of close to the mountains, but we're also like just a couple hours from the beach, so it's perfect. Yeah, it's nice. But it's just me, my husband, and our almost 5-year-old daughter, who is a bundle of joy.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
wonderful. I just love your accent too.
Oh,
Although, isn't it weird because you're probably like, this isn't an accent, this is my voice.
yeah,
You have an accent.
right.
Like, does it sound like I have an accent?
I don't hear it right now, but I heard it the first time we talked, and every now and then I'll hear it on the podcast.
But then it's like, what's a non-accent?
Right,
Right?
right.
It's
I
kind
think,
of weird.
yeah, and I don't hear mine, but I hear my voice all day, every day. So, right?
Oh my gosh. Okay. And I was just saying to you before we hit record, I want to start asking people how they introduce themselves because I think there's something so, especially as this topic we're going to be getting into,
Yeah.
there's something so interesting about how we introduce ourselves.
It is.
Or like, based on the evolution, we're going to get into your career story. We're going to get into the business that you run now. But like today, Shannon, how do you introduce yourself?
It depends on who I'm talking to. I mean, who am I talking to? To you?
Yes. And the listeners, all figured out listeners,
Okay,
working
so
parents.
I am Shannon. I'm Shannon Pruitt. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm a woman who is just trying to do all the things without burning out. That's the thing. But if we're getting down to the brass tacks, I am a brand strategist and creative director, and I work with mostly women, women-owned brands and businesses, building their brands, their websites, their marketing, and just helping them feel really confident out in the world, so they don't have to think about it.
And I feel like what's so cool and related to you introducing yourself in that way is I have a feeling a lot of the work that you do now is like the design and the strategy and the branding side of how somebody introduces themselves.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I can speak from personal experience that when nothing could change internally or based on what I'm doing in the world, like the work I'm doing in the world isn't that different. However, when I've revamped my website or I've like dialed in my brand and my strategy and how I talk about what I do, like my confidence in how I talk about what I do is so different. Or being like, oh, check out andreabar.com. I'm like actually excited.
Right.
Actually, I'm not that excited to send people there right now.
Oh no.
Oh
I'm
no.
like,
I'm bored.
do I need to go look? Oh, you're.
I got the ick. I've got the ick.
I got the ick a few months ago with my own, and so it's in the middle of an overhaul because
Oh my gosh. Okay, take us all the way back. I'm so excited for people to hear the story and for me to hear the full story. I've only gotten bits and pieces. But I want to hear the full story. You were working in a full-time job while you were building your first business. Take us back to that time.
we're going back.
How'd you do that?
I don't know. I don't know. I was a full-time teacher, school teacher, and I had always been somehow immersed in the wedding industry. Don't really know how it happened.
What?
I know.
Cool.
I mean,
You
I
couldn't
was
ask me to be part of that industry with a 10-foot pole.
Well,
Like, I
looking
want
back,
no part of it.
yes. Looking back, that's not what I say. People
Okay.
still come up to me and be like, "Can you edit it? Help me with that?" Nope, I will not. I'm sorry. We are closed for business, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I don't know. I don't really know how that happened, but somehow it happened. But I had a full-time teaching career, teaching, depending on where I was at the moment, but basically teaching middle and high school students and the upper grades, the advanced college level courses, which plays into a lot of what I do now as well. But
Oh.
yeah, it's cool how it all came back together. But somewhere in there in 2015, I was like, I was talking to a friend and she was like, why don't you just start your own wedding planning business? And I just was kind of like, I can do that? She was like, why not? You know how to do it. Why are you working for all these other people? I don't know. I didn't really think about that. And so I just started, which I do, maybe at some point in this conversation we can talk about, but just started. I didn't know what the heck I was doing as far as starting a business. But I started it, and I was not expecting it to grow like it did. It grew so fast. I don't think I was fully prepared for the growth that I experienced, which was cool, but also looking back, yeah. And so let's fast forward a few years into
And
that.
this is sorry, Shannon. This is pre-kids. Pre your
yes,
daughter. Yes.
this was 100%
Important detail.
Yes, because
that I needed to clarify
comes into play.
Yeah.
No, I was single, 0 kids. I was after work, I'd go to the gym, I'd work out, I'd go home, and I'd work. And until I got tired. And I enjoyed it as a crazy person, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But then we fast forward a few years, and the business is doing great. It's doing fantastic. But I also got married, and all of a sudden I realized that our schedules were completely different, because as a wedding professional, you're working nights and you're working weekends.
And you were still working as a school teacher at this point?
Yes, at this moment, yes, I was.
Wow.
Yes.
So you were working actually around the clock.
Yes, 100%.
Holy
While also trying to balance life. It wasn't working, which is what made me have the decision, like, something's got to give. So the teaching I quit teaching, which that was the plan. That was what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do it anymore. That is a discussion for another day. But I loved my business, loved it so much. So fully leaned into that. So did that. And then in 2019, started revisiting the idea of selling the business. And just because, again, our schedules, even the schedule just wasn't lining up. It didn't work. It doesn't work. I don't know. I still to this day don't know how wedding vendors do it. So met with somebody to sell the business. And he was like, it's valued at X dollars. And I was like, what? I had no idea.
Can you
Kidding?
Can you tell me the ballpark?
I don't remember, to be honest with
Like, are we talking like, in the 6 figures range?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
For the intellectual property, for the kind of client base, the
Yes.
brand that you had built.
Yes.
I think that's interesting. That's a really cool reminder to people.
Expecting that. I just remember going home to my husband and being like, he told me. I mean, it was in these 6 figures. I don't remember the exact number. I could go back and look. But
No, yeah. That's so interesting.
and there's a reason why I don't remember. Anyway, I had several interested buyers. This is fantastic. We're going to sell this business and have some money that we can do something with. And then COVID hit. And for any of you who don't know what happened to the wedding and event industry during that, it flipped on its head. It absolutely flipped on its head. Events were having to get rescheduled completely, like picked up from location A to location B. You couldn't have all these people at an event. Couples are devastated. You understand that all these things, people are having to close their businesses, and all these interested buyers pulled out. They were like, I don't want to do this. I can't blame you. I wouldn't want to either. And the guy helping me sell the business was like, well, in order to keep up the value, you have to keep going. And I just wasn't willing to do that. Then we found out we were pregnant. So I was like, yeah, we're just going to be done. Which, it is what it is. But ended up doing my last wedding in May of 2021, 4 months after my daughter was born. And then just a couple months later, decided to start this business. Because then I missed it. I missed owning my own business. I missed building that brand. And we were trying to figure out what I could do while being able to stay home, but not having to work nights and weekends. Mm-hmm. And so out of a conversation one night with my husband, I realized, hey, you know what? When I was planning weddings and I would refer all of these amazing, talented businesses to couples, a lot of times they'd come back and say, hey, no, we don't want to hire them. And I couldn't figure out, why. I'm like, well, why not? Can you please share with me? Because I know what they're capable of. I have seen their work. I've tasted their cake. I've tasted their food. I've seen them in action. And more times than not, they come back and say, the website is outdated. This brand looks like it's from 1995. Their social media is like, what are they even doing over there? And so these couples are looking for relevancy. They're looking for things being updated. They are looking for something modern. And some, not all, but some vendors were so busy they couldn't update it. They couldn't do it, or they didn't know.
Yep.
And so
One thing, know that, like, maybe they didn't know the value. Like, maybe they weren't hearing that, because that's a hard thing to deliver to somebody. Hey, just so you know, I'm not hiring you because you seem like you're stuck in the past.
Right.
I mean, I'm personally not giving that feedback. So that's an interesting insight.
Yes. And it's hard. I remember trying to very like kindly, gently tell some people like, hey, you might want to look into updating this. But it's also hard because that wasn't what I was doing at the time. So they took it for whatever it was worth.
I love it. Keep going. We got time.
All right.
Long form, baby.
Then this wedding planner that I'd been friends with came to me. She said, hey, I know you're doing copy and I would love to hire you for that. But can you, and for those of you who don't know, copy that's the words on your website. That's the words on your social media. That's any written form of communication that you're putting out there in the world. It is what you are saying to talk to somebody, to try to convince somebody to take any sort of action. It doesn't have to be to buy from you or hire you, but to take any sort of action. And that was a lot of what my teaching career consisted of. So anyway, this wedding planner came to me and she said, can you also design my website? I really liked yours when you were planning weddings. Did you do yours? I was like, yeah, I did the whole thing. She was like, how did you do that? I was like, I just learned how to do it. I don't know. So anyway, one thing led to another. Fast forward several years after that, and here we are. I'm doing brand strategy, brand identity, copy, website design, SEO, and mostly for wedding vendors, but also a lot of women, just in general, which is so cool. A lot of other moms, or just even women who aren't moms and just are busy like I was back in the day. So it's super relatable, and it's just fun to help them. But
that is such a cool story from teacher. What a cool, I love these stories. Like a teacher, it's such a specific niche. And the fact that you had the confidence and the wherewithal, or whatever you'd say, you're the linguist, not me, to be like, you know what, I could see how this could be transferable into other pathways. And that takes a lot of, like I said, confidence. So good for you for doing that. Now I want to go to that moment where you're sitting at the dining room table with your husband. You have a 4-month, like this is kind of in and around the time where you've just had your daughter.
Yep. She was 6 months old when we started this business.
Yeah. So you're like, okay, something's got to give. And the stakes were high. So this is different than when you left teaching. Yep. The stakes were so different. You had a husband, a partner that you had to be making this decision with, which is not talked about enough, how hard that can be.
It's very hard. It's different, especially when we got married later in life, in our mid-30s, and we were not used to having to make decisions together. So
totally. And then you've got this little human. You're like, oh my gosh, now this isn't just like a hypothetical child that I'm trying to think about my career. You're like, you're here and you're a wee baby and you're very needy.
You need me. Right. Right.
In the best way.
Yes.
And so take me to that moment where you and your husband are sitting there weighing all the options and looking at who you are, what you like, what your skills are. How did you navigate that?
It was honestly him. I hadn't thought about this.
You're going to give him the credit for this?
I am.
Oh,
yeah.
Good for you.
We were sitting there and he's like, well, why don't you do this? I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, why can't you do this? And I said, well, what do you mean? And so he said, well, you know how to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You've got the experience over here. You were designing weddings. I've seen your design boards that you were giving all these couples. That is branding. You're branding an event. Why can't you go brand a business? You know the writing, the words, how to sell. You taught that. You taught high school, college level kids how to do that. Why can't you just go do that for a brand? Oh, I don't know. I didn't think about all this. So.
Wow. And how did that align with the part of the wedding planning business or the part of the work that you enjoyed doing? Is that a part that you always had also enjoyed, or was it just a marketable skill that you had?
No, that was the part of wedding planning that I enjoyed the most, was the designing. I loved that part. I loved getting to put together these design boards for these couples about how this could look. I loved getting to show them, hey, this is what your venue space looks like at this moment, but this is what it could look like for your wedding day. And then taking them to the rental store and looking at all the swatches and the linens and the tables and all the chair options. And no, that was my absolute favorite part. And then out of all of that, being able to show them, okay, here's concept 1, here's concept 2, here's concept 3. Concept 3 was always my wild card, like something they weren't expecting. And more often than not, that's the one they would choose.
No way.
So fun. Yes. Yes.
Cool.
And that's what I see now when I'm designing brands, which is so fun. I love it. I love it.
That is, oh, I love this. Okay. Now, as it pertained to the financial side of this decision,
Yep.
this is a big one. So a lot of listeners who might be grappling, or not even grappling, but just curious about, could this be something that they do? Could they go into that marketable skill that they have, the part of the work that they do in their 9 to 5 that they're like, wait, I love this and I'm really good at it, but I hate all the other bullshit in the day. And I don't want to be commuting or whatever. They're curious. Mm-hmm. How did you have that discussion from a financial perspective? Because you were walking away from a, I'm sure, pretty lucrative industry.
Yeah.
Into the unknown.
It was not easy. It was not easy. It was basically a, let's see if this works.
Okay.
Also acknowledging the fact that, hey, you don't have the time to run a 40-hour-a-week job. You just don't. So we're going to acknowledge that. We're going to accept it, and we're going to do what you can in the time that you have. Because with that being said, my daughter has stayed home with me the past 4 and almost 5 years, other than a couple of hours at a preschool a few days a week, and then grandparents graciously stepping in. But she's been home. And so I'm working, like today, I had about a total of 3 hours, and that's it. And so I've become very efficient. Mm-hmm. Become very efficient. So just acknowledging the fact, like, okay, you don't have the time. This is not going to be the time that you can commit to a full-time job. So let's go into that, accept that, because also I tend to be a perfectionist, and I'm going to want to work all those hours. And if I can't, then I'm going to get mad and frustrated with myself. So acknowledging that, taking some of the funds from the previous business and to kind of start it. But to be honest with you, it doesn't take a lot to start. It really, truly doesn't. It takes more time than it does money to start it.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. I want to lean into this because I'm raising my hand, asking for a friend. I work. It sounds like I do commit more. I have more hours. We have a bit more childcare than it sounds like you have. Mm-hmm. And I still, maybe because I'm so passionate about this business, I still feel moments where I'm not proud to say that I say it's like 4:00 and I'm like, okay, I'm going to like hang with my kids now, send our nanny home or she's going to help us do something else. And I'm going to hang. And then I have this idea that comes to me, or I have this email I want to send, or like, that was not my previous life. I've always been an overachiever, 100%, but like, I wasn't like, oh my God, I would just kill to send this email right now. Like, how do you manage that? How do you handle those moments where you're like, I'm with you and I want to be present, and I'm now so excited about this thing?
Oh my gosh, it's so hard. It's so hard. And I'm not perfect with it. I'm not perfect with it. A lot of times I will just voice note. I do voice notes a lot because it's so much faster than typing.
Totally.
Out into my phone, so I'll see it later. I will literally open the calendar app on my phone and add a note, hey, this idea, lean back into it tomorrow or whatever, at a specific time where I know that I'm alone. But there's a lot of times too where I won't. If we're being completely honest, I'll just be like, hey, baby, give me 5 minutes. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, then sometimes the guilt seeps in. But it is, I don't know. It's a hard balance. But I also try to look at it from the standpoint of she's also watching me build something and tend to something that maybe she feels empowered she can do one day. So.
Yeah.
And I try to include her sometimes. I try to include her sometimes when I can. I mean, she's 4, including her means like, here's my Pantone swatches. You want to play with my mommy's colors? And she loves that. She loves that.
I mean, who wouldn't? Oh, that sounds like a dream, a childhood dream.
Right.
Are they on like a fan thing, like attached on like a ring?
No.
Oh,
These are just the cards, the individual cards, but she spills them all over the floor and,
Yeah.
organizes or color. I don't know what she does with them. She gets into her little imagination and it's cute.
Just like you shared before this, there was a Monopoly incident.
Yes, there was a Monopoly, right? I mean, this is life. This is what I'm talking about. I just was kind of laughing. I was like, of course this is happening right before this podcast interview. But like, it couldn't be any truer to what we're going to talk about, I guess. I was sending her upstairs to go hang out with my mom, who is here right now watching her. And they're going to play Monopoly Junior. And so she pulled the Monopoly Junior box out of the cabinet. And I just heard it. I heard it all. Every single tiny little piece fall everywhere. And of course, she and her little tiny body is so upset about it. And so I just stopped and I just helped her clean it up and then sent her on her way. And she was all good. But 2 minutes before getting on here with you, that's what happened. So
yeah,
we work around
life.
It. Right.
We do. Gosh, aren't women mothers just the best pivoters in the entire universe? Mm-hmm. Go us.
Just go us. That's
go
right.
us.
There's a lot of times I may look like I'm in a fog or can't remember what I'm doing, but
but here we are. We made it.
That's right.
We're in the listeners' ears right now.
Right.
We're with you.
That's right.
And maybe you had your own version of Monopoly today. Maybe it was the coffee. Maybe it was the water bottle.
That's right.
Usually it's all of those things for me on any given day. We're not yet in board game land.
There have been a couple incidents already today where I'm like, oh, there goes the crock pot juice from the meat that's cooking on the counter. Yep.
No. Not the crock pot juice. Okay, Shannon, we need to pivot into personal brand.
All right, let's talk about it.
I love the topic of personal brand. I'm going to share with you, when I was in corporate, I worked in the fashion industry. And I worked for a really fantastic $1 billion fashion brand here in Vancouver. There's only a few of them, so it's one of two. and I will say the words personal brand came up a lot, which is so interesting in a corporate setting.
Yeah.
So we did talk about that. So I was in the learning and development department. We were responsible for professional training and development. I was on the professional development, personal development side, which was really fun. And this came up a lot. Like, how do we help people hone, harness, develop their own personal brand so that they can be successful internally, was the ask. And so I think this is kind of an interesting topic to have someone like you come on to share with us. So if we were to first speak to the corporate employee, or the person, I say corporate as like someone who works for somebody else. I mean, you can work at a gas station, doesn't matter.
Sure.
What would you say, like, if someone was like, oh, I just feel like I'm not myself at work, or I don't love, like, oh my gosh, if you're watching this on YouTube, that stupid reaction always comes up, and I turned it off. I went into my settings after the last time it happened. Oh, the things that just drive you crazy with technology. Like, who wants that? Who wants that?
Turn it off. So
it's like the thumbs up bubble that pops up for anyone who's just listening. Oh, it drives me crazy. Anywho. Okay, so the person who's like, I want to revisit my own personal brand. I feel like you've got thoughts on this. I know this isn't particularly your like niche area of expertise and like the working for someone else. But where would you get someone to start in any branding exercise?
I have a lot of thoughts about this.
You would.
Where would I get somebody to start on this exercise?
You're like, I want to 2026 is like, this is going to happen. This is going to launch in 2026, this episode. And someone's like, this is my year.
Yeah. I think you need to figure out first and foremost, what are you actually wanting to do? Like, why do you want a personal brand? What for? Why? Like, I think you've got to get down to that, because I feel like everybody and their mom is talking about having a personal brand right now. And I'm like, but why? Why do you want one? Yeah. And then are you going to be able to commit to actually building this? Because it's going to take work. And that's what I think a lot of people don't realize. I had a conversation with a client, a couple weeks ago, and she's starting a personal brand. And we did some work together. And then we had a call to catch up. And she was like, I just thought that I could just do this stuff and that it would just start happening. I was like, oh girl, no, you gotta keep going. You gotta keep working. So I think really coming back to, why are you wanting a personal brand? What is this going to do for you? What are you wanting to do with it? Because without it, you're just kind of throwing stuff out into thin air.
Yeah. Okay. So this is so interesting. I love that you answered it that way, because where I was coming at it was more as like a person's personal brand, like internal personal brand versus turning into a business. So what you were saying was more the person who's like, I want to monetize myself.
Yeah.
Is that what you meant?
Well, that is.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
thought that's what you were meaning. But if we're talking
No.
about it from the internal perspective as well, that
Yeah.
I think is starting with, you need to get really clear on who you are, because you can't create a personal brand without knowing that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think that your advice also stands as somebody who does do this work a lot. I work with people who are in career change, transitions, career development, or just how do you navigate being a working parent, mother. And it is true. Like, I think your initial response to that was, you have to understand like what you want out of this. You have to understand why you're doing this. So if it is an internal, so I worked at Aritzia. It's no secret. I just joke. So at Aritzia, if I was still a corporate employee and I was like, I want to harness my personal brand, you have to understand, like, what do you want out of it? And not in a sleazy way. Like, that's kind of that's my initial reaction.
Sure.
But like, what is this going to do for you?
Right.
Like, by developing yourself as a human being, like, what do you want out of that?
Right.
Yeah.
I would love to ask that question to so many people I see who are just kind of, quote, building if you're not watching, you're listening, I'm doing the air quotes, like building a personal brand. Like, okay, I would love to know what you're doing. Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
What is your ultimate goal? Because I don't know. I'm big on coming back to your why for anything. Like, why are you doing something? It helps you stay grounded. It helps you stay focused. And I know that sounds so cheesy and so dumb, but really, truly, you can get off track so fast. And then if you get too far off track, you're losing sight of why you started.
Yeah. It's so true. Whenever I'm doing like the career development work with somebody who's a parent, we always go big and we go far out. We go to the 5 to the 10 to the 20 year. We actually talk about retirement usually in the first hour of working together for a VIP day. Because if we don't know where you're going, what is the purpose of what you're doing now?
Right.
So it's like, okay, you're happy and content being in a corporate setting right now. How does that serve your future you? Do you want to become the CEO? Or do you want to keep on this corporate path? Or are you like, I actually don't need to invest that much time and energy in this internal brand because I want out in 2 years.
Right. That's what I mean.
That's a great place to start.
Right. Yes. I I don't want any. More than likely, if you're listening to this podcast, you don't have a ton of time. I don't know who does anymore, but like, you're not wanting to waste time on anything. So let's get down to the heart of it and figure out what it is. Because if you are wanting out in 2 years, then maybe you don't really spend a lot of time on it. Maybe you can do a few things, but why are you gonna? Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe you're allowed to coast a bit.
Right. Yes.
People don't say that enough.
No, they don't. I actually read an email recently talking about coasting. Oh, that's funny that you just brought that up.
Ooh, I need to get on your email list. Okay, so Shannon, now let's go back to what you initially started talking about, which is totally where we're headed anyways, which is the person who wants to create a personal brand that they might one day monetize. Yeah. So, okay, here's the case study. I'll give you the case study.
Boy. Oh, I didn't know I was getting a case study. Give it to me.
You're going to get a case study. You're a former educator. I'm sure sounds like you did stuff like this before. Okay, here's the case study. The person who works at cool corporate tech SaaS job. They're like middle manager, director maybe, and they're like, this is great. I don't want to be here. In 2 years from now, 2028, I don't want to be here anymore. But I have no idea what I want to do. But I'm kind of excited by seeing all these creators out there and all these personal brands. So I don't really know my why per se, but should I just start posting on Instagram? Should I just start, like, where does that person go without wasting time that they don't actually have playing, quote unquote, on Instagram?
Sure. Yeah.
What do you do? You know?
Gosh, that's a good question. Laughing because of my love-hate relationship with Instagram. But I don't think you wait. I don't think you wait to get it perfect, because good gosh, you're never going to get it perfect. It's not going to ever be perfect. And I think there's something beautiful about doing something imperfectly. But all that to say, I think before you post something, okay, you've got to figure out what you're going to post. So what is it that, let's say, it lights you up? What do you get excited about? Like, what is it? Is it traveling? Is it cooking? Is it art? Is it walking around your downtown area and popping into different restaurants? Okay, so what is it going to be? Because if you're passionate about that, like, I don't know, I'm thinking of this person, this case study you're giving me. Like, maybe they are a foodie. Maybe they love visiting local restaurants. Okay, well, then on your time off, you're going to eat anyway. So go pop into a couple of restaurants, film what you're eating. I don't know. I'm not a social media manager by any means, but like, make some sort of content out of something you love. Let's say you're into fashion. So go to a couple of your favorite local boutique stores, get a haul, try it on, show people. Look, I'm a sucker for those videos. Like, find what it is that you enjoy doing and turn it into some sort of content. And from there, you can build your personal brand. From there, that's going to evolve into something bigger if you keep it up and if you're reaching the right people, the right audience. So.
How often would you say, from your experience as a brand strategist, so as we now think about like the strategy of it all, because, okay, now I'm going to back it up. I notice that there's so many quote unquote lifestyle creators out there who look like everything is just willy-nilly. But I suspect the best of them do have some sort of strategy in place or have refined it. So now this is the question I wanted to ask, was around like, what's the permission level of a person? Like, how often is a person allowed to continue to like refine and change? And like, so they start off as a foodie, but they're like, there's only so much I can eat. And like, I don't know. I actually like posting about like travel more. Like, how much do you have to get right from the start? I guess is my question.
I don't know that you have to get anything right from the start. And this may not be like the popular advice, but I don't think you have to. I think you can just do it. I think with the way, and I guess since we're talking social media, I mean, and it is what it is, like with the way it's growing, if you want to pivot. If you want to try something new, try it. I mean, I don't think it's going to hurt. I think of some of the top creators, and they're not just talking about one or two different things. There's a slew of stuff they're showcasing. So why not?
I love it. Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Permission.
Yeah.
I would say that from my experience in starting All Figured Out, starting my coaching business, even though they're kind of similar brand, they're almost two separate brands a little bit now. They do converge. But I felt like from my coaching business in particular, like I would love the podcasts, like the business podcast. And it was always like niche. But it wasn't until I worked with a slew of people that I knew where I wanted to niche.
Yeah.
And then I became a mom and it became very relevant. And I was like, oh, there's a huge gap here.
Right.
There it is. But I realized, I was like, yeah, the life coaching thing, the just general coaching thing is not for me. I personally, like, I love that space for myself in therapy, like just like a bring whatever, come as you are. And then I loved talking to people about their careers. Like, you're not supposed to talk about work too much with your friends or family. So I was like, yeah, use me as that person that you can talk about work to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I think there's something to be said about that, because you don't know. And you and I are full of like, I see you've rolled your eyes so many times as like you're saying something, but like you don't know until you try.
Right.
You've got to like post the thing to be like, oh, that felt good, or oh, that felt weird.
Right.
Or then people DM you back about the subject and you're like, oh, I'm kind of bored. Like I actually don't care about this at all.
Right.
So
Well, I think you have to, like, I was looking a little bit this morning, actually. I think in terms of social media and the algorithms constantly changing, it could be that something flopped because the algorithm is changing, or it could be that what you created didn't resonate with who you're trying to reach.
Yeah.
So you've got to look at the data and look at, well, which one can we figure out which one it is? Is it the quote algorithm, or is it that this content didn't resonate with the audience?
Very good point. Now, Shannon, if somebody has, and there's so many, I would say most people listening have had at some point or do have a dream, like a spark or a seed of an idea. that they're excited about, that they keep thinking about, have probably been thinking about for a couple years? Where do they start to create any sort of brand and just like nurture an idea? Where would you start?
Wow, that's a good question. I think, well, are we still talking personal brands?
It could be anything.
General.
Do you know how many people have come across and worked with me who have said that they have dreams of opening a cafe?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
gosh.
cool. Like a
Right.
beautiful corner store cafe. Like
Yeah.
all people from different, we're talking tech, lawyers, marketing. Like it's so interesting. That's the number one thing I hear.
I wonder where that is.
I know.
Or there's some psychology there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
that might be-
cozy, happy vibes, but I love coffee.
Yeah. Total opposite of what they're used to.
Mm.
I think if you're going to start doing anything, I don't know, now I've got the cafe in my head. Um, but I think starting small, getting it out there and trying it. So maybe it's, let's think, the cafe person. I don't know if it's a bakery.
That's a hard one because that's a standalone. Like, okay, no, you're right. Bakery. I see where you're going.
I mean,
Maybe it's like selling some products out of your house.
yes, that's what I'm thinking of immediately is I've got a friend and she is constantly baking. And I'm always joking, like, when you're ready, I'm going to create your logo, you know? But she'll create these and bake these beautiful, delicious cookies, bread. I don't know. I'm not a baker. And it was, and I finally told her, I was like, these are good. If this is something you really are interested in, go. I mean, this sounds so small. Go buy some like brown bags off of Amazon, wherever, or maybe we're not using Amazon, but wherever. Go buy them and then like stick them in there instead of just giving somebody your loaf of bread in wrapped up tinfoil or wrapped up plastic wrap. Let's be a little bit more intentional about it. Go buy a bag, get a sticker on it, put some sort of sticker. Start small. I don't know. That's one example, just because it's so relevant and recent and real. Let's say it's somebody who, I'm trying to think of another example.
Say like a consultant. You know, the people who are like, I have like, maybe they don't have a lot of extra time, but they could really use some extra money. Let's be real here.
Yep.
That's a real thing.
Yep.
And they're like, I could really use a couple $100 a week extra.
Okay, then find somebody who needs your consultancy and offer it to them, because figure out the price point. You're going to have to make it lower at the beginning. It just is what it is. It's going to have to be lower than what the industry standard is, but you're starting out, and so you have to accept it and just offer it. Maybe even do a couple for free.
Get some testimonials.
I mean, it sucks, but you got to do it. I mean, this is how both of my businesses, you got to do some free work in there to get going, so you have something to show, so you get those testimonials. So start it and just offer it for free. Find a couple of people after that maybe to charge for a lower amount and slowly build it from there. And then, I mean, you can get into the naming, you can get into the brand color palette and then the website and all the things. But probably unpopular opinion among the designers, and I am one, is you don't necessarily need that to get started. It is going to be important when you start growing, but I don't think you need it to get started. Just start.
It feels like a pitfall that a lot of people, myself included, can like. It's fun. It's creative. It makes it feel real. Mm-hmm. However, it could feel real, but not even be real yet because you spent too much time and money on the branding side. And I'm saying that to somebody who's a brand strategist, but I feel like you would agree.
No, I do agree, because I think there's a lot of the work that I do with branding is very strategic, very much grounded, and getting back to that why and the purpose. There's a reason for every single pixel that we put somewhere, every single curve in a letter, one shade off in a color for the color palette can make a huge difference. And so I think before you start investing in that or even DIYing it, just get it out there, because you can go down the rabbit hole of fonts and colors and website and all the things, and that's going to eat away time for what you're really, really good at. So
I love that. And I was saying to you when we had our intro call that some of the brand packages that you have are so well priced at like, just it's like it's just the kickstart you might want. Say it is really important to you, or you have a business where you want to get a stamp for the brown paper bag and you need a logo. There are people like you out there, Shannon included, who's for hire, where you can invest a little bit. And if that is what you need to be like, okay, I want to pay that back and then soar from there. I also get that. There's different.
Oh yeah. You can
different types of people.
You can do that. You can buy a logo kit or a semi-custom brand kit, and you can either customize it yourself or you can have someone like me customize it for you. There's so many different ways that you could do it.
So good.
Yeah.
Now, I like the way that you talk about branding and personal brand. I find very holistic. And what I mean by that is that it really feels like you take the whole package into consideration. Like even when you talk about the wedding planning and you're like, oh, the design, you're not just talking about the stationery. You're talking about like the vibe, the feeling. As it pertains to a person who is looking to like refine their own personal brand when it comes to their confidence, their aesthetics, how they talk, what stories they tell. Can we riff on that for a bit? Like, give me your thoughts on that side of things, like how you come across at a dinner party, like those, like, I don't even know what the question is, but I think you're picking up what I'm throwing down here.
I mean, I could talk about that. I think there's, I could talk about the story. I could talk about how you present yourself in different situations, listen to your audience and know who you're speaking to. I think everybody loves a good story. Everybody loves a good story. And so as a personal brand, what is your story? And it's not your resume. It's not, here's what I can do. No. It is your, I mean,
so boring.
At the beginning of this, when I shared my story, I wasn't just saying like, here's the jobs I've had or here, it was, and it's an actual story. People love that. What's the beginning, middle, and maybe there's not an end yet, but what are people going to relate to about your personal story? Are you that tech mid-level VP of a SaaS company and you want out, you are burned out, you're done, and here you are, and what was the moment that you realized that you were burned out? And so now what are you going to do about it? Like, what is the story? And then like how you present yourself coming into a room of people, whether it's online or in person. I think like I totally could have shown up to this recording and my hair clip and dry shampoo everywhere and t-shirt, which, moms, I don't know. I'm one of those who that's what I will wear the entire afternoon. But this is not my brand. That's not my brand. I'm not going to show up here like that. I'm not going to have a mess behind me during this recording. So if you are doing that and you're building a brand, okay, and you're filming a TikTok, a reel, whatever it is, you're on an interview. What's your surroundings? What are you presenting out to the world? Does it match your brand? Because people are going to see everything that you put out there and they're going to associate it with your brand, personal or not. They are going to associate it with your brand. And so you've got to make sure it all is aligning with how you want to be seen and remembered. And because ultimately your brand is what people are saying about you.
Oh, I love that. I had a moment recently too where I started the words that I was saying about myself. I can't remember if I've talked about this on the podcast, but I was just in a phase like it was a really busy fall, like a really fun, full fall, I will say. And I just felt like I kept using the words like, I'm in a state of chaos, or like, oh my God, I'm so chaotic. Oh, sorry. Oh my God, I'm all over the place. That's what I was saying constantly. And I was at a business mastermind with a business group I'm a part of. And we did this really cool exercise. And I just had this moment of clarity being like, first of all, like, sure, the days are full and busy. And sometimes like I drop a ball or two, but I'm dialed. And that's not the brand that I'm out to create a brand that is authentic, because my podcast is called All Figured Out. And I do not pretend like I have any, all of it figured out, but I do have a lot of things figured out. And my brand is also supposed to be uplifting, to say like, hey, you might not have everything figured out, but lean on other people. Get experts in your life to like help you fill in the gaps. That's the whole vibe. And so by virtue of me continuously putting myself down to other people, I actually had this moment where I was like, am I inciting doubt in other people? You know, am I planting that seed that didn't even exist
Yes.
in their brain because I'm shit talking myself to them?
And then they're ultimately going to associate that with you, and it's going to be this negative like feeling towards you as a brand, even if it's not intentional. Oh, it's crazy. Like what even the slightest little things can do in the perception people have of us. The slightest thing. It's crazy.
So
There's a lot of psychology out there about that. It's so cool.
Yes. So going back, okay, the work that you did when you were a teacher. So what exactly was it? Were you an English teacher? Is that
English teacher? Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so how do words, like as our final thoughts as we wrap today, like how do words, written words, the words we say, like how does that really shape our brand?
Oh my gosh, it is. I I love design. But I will be the first person to tell you, ultimately, at the end of the day, your message, what you were saying, whether out loud, orally, or on paper, that is the thing. That is the main thing. That is the most important thing. So what are you saying? And that sounds so cheesy and so dumb. But ultimately, it is more important than the look of your brand or your personal brand, because that's what people are, again, they're going to associate it with you. But that you've got to figure out what the message is that you're putting out there.
And that relates to the story you were talking about. I have to ask, have you read StoryBrand 2.0?
Oh, yeah.
That is such a phenomenal book. And for anyone listening who hasn't read it, I think Dan Miller is his name. And he wrote a revised version of it recently. Donald Miller.
It's somewhere over there on my shelf.
Yes, because then I was listening to a podcast and he called himself Don. And I was like, whoa, you're not Don. You're Donald Miller. And it talks about like the hero's journey. And one thing that I feel like you and I really jam on when we first met was just the putting your customer or the person that you're with as the hero in the story.
Yes.
And I thought that was it's just so wise. And what a shift from like, you see these personal brands that make people feel like they're all about the person, like the person you follow on Instagram. You're like, oh, they're the hero. But what I have a feeling, if we really drill into it, is so in the hero's journey, there's a guide, and spoiler alert, Shannon is the guide, I'm the guide. Like when we're working with our clients, we are the guides. We are not the heroes.
Nope.
And what I think is like these personal brands that we all follow, the ones who are really good put us as the hero, even though we don't realize it. Oh, there's the thumb again. The thumb goes up. The thumb goes up. We love it. What do you think about that? How does that relate to this topic that we're talking about here?
So it's funny. My brand's tagline is every brand has a muse, and around here, that's you. Because I see, so you, for the clients you work with, me for the clients I work with, I am your muse to a point. I am your guide, but I'm guiding you to see what you probably already have in the ideas that you have. Maybe we're refining them, or maybe it's something that you don't quite realize is there, but I'm showing it to you. But ultimately, I'm losing track of what the question was because I'm getting really into it. But
no, I don't even know if I asked you a question. Keep going. I love this.
All right. But it just ultimately at the end of the day, you are not the hero of this story and whatever message, again, the copy, the words that you're putting out there, you are not the hero of it. It's your audience. It's who you're trying to reach. I mean, even if you think through, like, as you're doom scrolling at night and you're watching different TikToks, reels, whatever it is that you watch, and even the lifestyle creators out there, like you maybe I'm thinking of one creator, she's always showing these easy recipes for tired parents. Okay. And I'm like, well, she is not the hero here. She's making me the hero because I'm going to go get my 3 ingredients and make a yummy dinner. And she is empowering me. She's guiding me to do it. So even all the personal brands, even all the lifestyle brands, they're not the hero. It's who they're talking to, or the client. It's the customer. So.
It's so beautiful. I love that. It's such a beautiful, I don't know, euphemism analogy, like something to think about as like a really scalable way to think about how to move through life. Like,
yeah.
People who listen to this podcast know I'm obsessed with things like negotiation and like and career development and like, or just even negotiating with your little humans or with your partner. It's like, if you're positioning your needs for as the only needs present and what you need, and you are the hero and help me, like nobody, it's just not how we work. It's
No.
psychology 101. So I think you're so right. I never even thought of it in terms of like, that person who's making the 3-ingredient dinner.
Yeah.
They are absolutely not the hero. They're not winning. They're having to film it. They're having to type the caption. There's a lot going on for them.
Right.
That's not fun. Or maybe it's probably fun for them.
It's not wouldn't be for me.
But you are then becoming the hero because look, Shannon has now created this beautiful 5-minute dinner with 3 ingredients.
Right.
She's winning.
Yeah. See?
That's so cool. Yeah. What a transition. What is next for you? What is next for Sunday Muse, your design studio brand?
I am actually in the middle of my own brand recalibration, is what I call it, because I got to the point where I got a little far away from the heart of who and what this business is. I became too much like every other designer out there, chasing this editorial vibe, this like modern chic, like, and it's not, and that's not the people I'm working with either. It's like people like you and me. And anyway, so I'm in the middle of
I'm sorry, we are modern and chic.
We are.
Shannon.
I was about to say, wait a minute, we're modern and chic, but we're also not uptight. I think that's the difference.
Yeah,
you know,
I like that.
That's the difference. This is not an uptight. Like, you can come to a client call with me, and you can be messy. You can look messy if you need to look. You need to cancel because your kid spilled Monopoly all over the floor and is having a meltdown. We can reschedule. You know, you need to have a call with your kid in your lap, but that's fine. And so it just didn't make sense anymore with the brand I was putting out there to put together these women in these power suits, you know, and the studio. I'm like, that's not what I'm doing, and that's not who I'm working with. So I am personally in the middle of a little brand recalibration and really ready for 2026. And I'm just really, really looking forward to who I get to work with in 2026. A lot of past clients, they stay on for quarterly brand support, which is so fun. I love continuing to support women, but also who else comes onto the client roster. So it was just,
good for you. That is so much fun. And in addition to your recalibration, what is something that, between working and parenting and life, what is something you're trying to figure out right now?
I love it. I'm literally trying to figure out how do I manage my time in the day? How do I get the work done, get the workout in, get the shower in, get the dinner clean? I'm always playing with the schedule because I am, and this circles back to the beginning of the conversation. I try so hard not to work when she isn't with some sort of childcare or when she's not asleep. So just always trying to figure out how to make that work, and I have not 100% figured it out.
Okay. Well, we're all with you.
Yeah.
We are all with you, but it sounds like you're doing a wonderful job. Thank you so much for just being so open, willing to just go with it. We had plans for this episode, and I think we delivered, but it just went in some really cool directions that we didn't even expect. So thank you so much, Shannon.
You.
And I hope you have a great 2026.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, Andrea.